I was born on a farm near the Larsland community up north of Glasgow, and I got married at pretty young and moved with my husband to Glasgow. And then we waited 10 years to have our daughter, and then another 4 years to have our son. In the spring of 2015, I was having some female problems, so I decided I better start doctoring and figure out what was wrong. I'd gone to another doctor, or I'd gone to a doctor who told me to get a mammogram, and wasn't really fond of the doctor, so I just kind of poo-pooed the idea. And then I went to the next doctor, and she performed some tests, and then when I was ready to leave, she said, "When's the last time you've had a mammogram?" And I said, "A couple of years ago." And she replied to that, "It would really make me feel better if you got a mammogram." So that kind of softened my heart about the whole mammogram thing, and I went and got one. Well, long story short, I had breast cancer, something that it's in my family, so I thought maybe one day it might happen to me, but never expected it this soon. I felt a nearness to God that I can't describe it. I just felt He was walking with me, and I struggle sometimes with doubts of my salvation, but at that time I just really felt the presence of God with me and guiding me and helping me. And it was really miraculous that we had a couple little setbacks, but the doctors I got and the healthcare providers were just wonderful, and I think He guided that entire journey. The Sunday I found out, I got a call during church, and I was annoyed. It was a number I did not recognize, so I turned off my phone. And Jody said to me, "What if it was one of the kids? What if it was the doctor?" And I said, "Well, you better go check. I'll turn my phone on." So I went back in the study, the pastor's study, and got another phone call, and it was the doctor telling me that I had breast cancer. And so I called my family out of church, and I called the children's minister, and we all prayed together. And so I'm sure that was by God's design. I was kind of annoyed with the doctor for picking a Sunday morning to call me, but it was the best place to find out that I had cancer. As we had surgery, and I'd never really had surgery before, so it became real when they started to cut, and then the chemotherapy was getting closer. And I remember being down in Billings and the doctor saying, "Your cancer's a little bit worse than we thought it would be," and being really afraid, just panicky. And I finally said to myself, "God, I know you number my days, and my days are written in your book. And if it's my time to go, then it's my time to go." And actually releasing that to God gave me an amount of peace that I hadn't had before. I was kept having anxious thoughts and trying to, clarify everything in my mind, and it just released me from that. I had my first surgery in June, and 2 weeks later, just about when I was healed up from my first surgery, I get a call from my surgeon. The margins aren't clear, so we want to go in again. And it was also in one of my lymph nodes. And so I freaked out, and I was outside watering my plants and crying. And I prayed, God, I need something here. And up the street, just at that, I just turn around, and here's my dad driving up the street in his pickup. He's 90 years old. And he talked to me about inconsequential things, and that calmed me down. And then we went inside to have coffee, and I said, Dad, I don't know how much longer I have left. And he said, neither do I. And we had a laugh about it, and that kind of lightened things up. When I was going through my chemo treatments, every week I would invite someone to come with me, and a lot of ladies from the church and new cancer friends would come with me and support me. And I think it's very important that when you have cancer, you get a support system and you reach out to people, because a lot of times people are willing to do that if you just reach out. And right before, kind of a few weeks after we found out, we had people pray for me in the prayer room, and that was pretty special too. And I just felt that the prayers of God's people really must have worked, because everything went pretty smoothly all throughout my treatments. I finished my last treatment in September of 2016, and I went through a total of 15 months of cancer treatments. Christ brought me through the whole process. Jesus is the one that you need to have faith in as God's Son. Take his hand, believe in him, and you will see paradise.